Hello, hello, and welcome back. This is Lizzie Bites Games, and today we've been chewing on The Last Caretaker, a survival crafting game set in a flooded Earth after the seas have risen, and all that is left are a handful of buildings popping out of the ocean as if to say, we were here. And our task, should we choose to accept it, is to save humanity. Or in this case, we have created three little human embryos, pods, whatever you would call them, and we have brought them here to Exodus Station, where they are sitting in the tippy top of that rocket over there, and they're waiting for us to fuel the rocket and send them up to the space stations where the rest of humanity lives. Or at least that's what we've been told. This game is in early access, which means that we don't actually have all of the bits and pieces. Now, this is the second part of Exodus Station. The first part is the arrivals area. It's fairly straightforward. Something about the graphic settings today have created some flashing in the shadows. I apologize. I'll try to crop it, but there's not a lot of it going on. So this is the second part of Exodus Station. Once you've cleared arrivals, you come over here. You want to sneak around to the left and go ahead and speak because there will be an enemy, a very difficult enemy, sitting on that platform. But if you can get over to this yellow building off to the left, there is a health station and there is a save point, and there is power generation over here. And those are the three things that you need in order to survive while you're taking out the enemies that are over here. If you are careful, you can do this in stages. You can clear out this area around the power station without upsetting what lives over here, then lure the rollerball that is over here down to the power station, and then you can get at it from a safe spot, essentially, that does not require you to be completely you can take a few hits and then sort of poke back into the basement, heal up, and then come back out again. So the reason you want to do this is you want to be able to use this elevator to take your little humans up to the top of the rocket. Otherwise, you have to come around the corner and take them up the stairs, which is what I did the first time and was a pain in the butt. Okay. This spaghetti tangle of cords over here is an absolute. This is the result of the past 2 hours, essentially. When you get here, you find a lot of canisters lying around. Go ahead and empty them all. Repair this, which is an oxygen tank, and this, which is a methane tank. I have chosen to also build a second oxygen tank, but it's not entirely necessary. It's just convenient. All right, so that is doing its thing. All right, so what is going on here, as I get myself tangled in my own cords, what is going on here is that you have to be able to fuel and power the rocket. And you have power over on the other side. Not a lot. It takes forever if you just use that. You don't build anything else, but it can be done. You fuel and power the rocket. I'm going to come up here. There is a little screen that tells you. Pull open these. They will have a little interact button when you get to it. You can see this is pulling a lot of power from over the power generator and just pulling a little power from over here where I just have a couple of solar panels for whatever they're worth. So you need 12,000 liters of oxygen, 3,000 liters of methane. and 60 kilowatt hours of electricity. We are at 54 kilowatt hours. It's taken a while to get there. It's taken like 4 or 5 day-night cycles to get there. So building or bringing more of power generation will make this process go faster. I went ahead and hooked up this bit here so that whatever else was going on the other that I was doing, this was very slowly charging this up. So I can get away with only having a little bit of power over on this side because I will have almost fueled and powered that rocket, at which point everything that is on the far side is going to come back over here and is going to run this. And this is set up to give us the oxygen and the methane. Now, the oxygen is fairly easy. There's actually a thing called an oxygen generator, which you can build that will fill an oxygen tank. That's great. But you end up not having any methane. So where does the methane come from? So this is the methane tank. The methane tank is connected to this Sabatier reactor that is sitting here when you get here. You don't have to build it from scratch. I have actually turned mine around. That's why it probably looks different from yours. I got tired of the outputs being over here on the opposite side from the tanks. That didn't make any sense to me. So I turned it around, dismantled it, and rebuilt it so that it was pointed in the right direction. Again, that's me being extra. You don't necessarily have to do that. The thing that is very, very important is this one in the middle that has this little green symbol on it. It's in the middle of 4 white ones. The 4 white ones are oxygen. The green one is methane. This is how you create methane. And the way that you create methane is you create carbon dioxide. Well, how do you create carbon dioxide? You burn petrol. So this is a small electric generator that is designed to burn petrol, and it will output electricity. Not a lot, but, a little. It will output carbon dioxide, which you need to capture and carry over to the reactor. And it pulls in petrol, not diesel. You have to have a petrol setup over here. Now, over here off to the right, there are a couple of oil tanks. There is a way to turn oil into petrol, but you probably don't have it yet. So I've been collecting petrol canisters the whole time, and I've been keeping almost all of them. And so I built a petrol tank, and I have pumped all of the petrol that I had on hand into the petrol tank. And I am going to hope that that is enough to create enough methane to power our little friend. I'm just going to put this away because in theory, we are done here. We are ready to rock and or roll. So, good. Go away. We have 1,200 liters of petrol. So we had about 6 canisters. Petrol tank is connected to the electric generator. When I turn on the electric generator by pressing the button, it is going to produce methane. The methane is going to go into the reactor, or it's going to produce carbon dioxide, which is going to go into the reactor and come out as methane and oxygen. Now, this is roughly what the setup was last time when I did this the very first time on my first run here. The question is, do I have enough electrical generator? The other part that has to be here is we have to have fresh water. So down below is the saltwater tank. You have to come down. You have to go down this ladder or just jump down the hole. You have this built in. This is a saltwater pump. It pulls saltwater up. You have to build yourself a saltwater purifier and then take the fresh water and put it in a tank somewhere or have it ready in order to that's the last thing the Sabatier needs. connect as many of the outputs and inputs as you can. You have to have them pretty much all connected in order for this to run. We're going to turn this on. I think you can leave these unconnected. These last two oxygens, I think you can leave them unconnected. I have a full tank of fresh water. I have the petrol generator. Let's turn you on. And let's turn you, no, put that back. Let's turn you on. It is outputting. And you follow that, it goes into the green tank with the methane. And now it goes into this. This looks like it's pushing oxygen up, and it is also pushing methane. And the way that you check that is you come up the ramp and around. And so this is not doing anything up here at the moment. It is not contributing. You see, it comes up to another splitter. This splits between the methane that it's been carrying and the oxygen. And so what we should see, if we come back to the screen, is that the methane and the oxygen are still climbing. The electricity is nearly done. Nothing has shorted out. Now you can decide how long you have to run it long enough to obviously. What is your output? You have to run it long enough to get as much methane as you can. But you don't have to refill necessarily the methane tank. You may as well to a certain degree, because you're just going to have to fill it again when you send up a second rocket. But so oxygen is connected to oxygen tank 1. Oxygen is connected to oxygen tank 2. Methane is connected to methane tank. Oxygen tank 1 is connected to the splitter. Oxygen tank 2 is connected to the splitter, or in this case, it's not really a splitter. I guess it's a extender. They call it an extender, and it just pushes or pulls in whatever direction you need it to. The methane tank is also connected to that same splitter. You can do 3 little splitters for 3 different tanks for 3 different hoses, but that costs a lot of hose. And what was discovered, at least at this point in early access, is that as long as the cable is the correct kind of cable, anything will flow through it. So this is also a way to get around having to lay both a diesel cable and a petrol cable later on. Just lay a fuel cable, and either diesel or petrol will flow through it. And both will flow through it at the same time. So they're both going through. This is actually using as an extender. Is you have to do your 20 meters and then put down an extender, do another 20 meters, put down an extender, and then this operates as a splitter to split the methane out. We're about halfway through the methane. The problem that we have at the moment is that the sun is going down. And so I suspect that a lot of this is going to be, well, no, because I have the electric generator now. And the electric generator does, in fact, put out a little bit of electricity. So let's see if that is enough to keep this running during the evening after the sun has gone down. And just before the sun goes down, I am going to point out, this is the other arm of Exodus, and you have some stuff out here. You also have 2 of these RollerBois, which nothing I've done has activated them as of yet. Again, there was an enemy down here that I had to go down and I had to take care of. I used the electric pistol and the electric rifle, and then I just whacked things with a crowbar. You're still running. You need 8 kilowatt hours and you're getting 16, so that should be fine. Yeah. And you are still outputting. You are still outputting. This is still going up and charging things. Now, how much petrol do I have left? That becomes the limiting factor. This actually is quite a bit of petrol. It had 1,600. It's down to 1,100. No, it had 1,200 because we had 6 petrol canisters. And it's down to 1,100. And we are two-thirds of the way through of each. A little more oxygen, but that's okay because we can let the oxygen fill the tanks. Now, there's the moon. All right, the moon has just come up. We still have plenty of nighttime left. But in theory, by the time we're done here, we will have fueled the rocket. So what happens after the rocket? You still don't actually have to deal with this area unless you want to. There is, if you go down these stairs, you cross over underneath the balls. And I'm almost tempted to see about, if I cross underneath the balls and I use the electric rifle, would that activate? I've done it before where I crossed underneath the balls and they activated because I used the rifle with the traditional bullets. And that upset them. That definitely upset them. But I've never tried just using the electric rifle. We will not be quite ready to launch this video, though, unless we get over to this building and clear it out. There is another roller ball over there. There's like 6 of them over here, 5 or 6 of these silly things. And there is, in order to get down to power the building, so you're going to have power over there on that building as well. You have to take out a bunch of Hornet spitters. The Hornet spitters, I can't decide whether I dislike the Hornet spitters or the other spitters worse. The skitters, the green ones. The Hornets come out of the yellow bulbs. The green ones give you these little skittery crab kind of spidery kind of things that also spit acid. Both of them spit acid really down to it. So, the Hornets have been known to kill me faster. They swarm in bigger swarms. All right. So the upper left-hand corner is telling me that all of my electrical needs for this have been met. And you can tell because this is no longer drawing power. So we can actually take this down and close this. You started raining again. It always rains. You are at 2,800 out of 3,000. So you are almost done. Oxygen is at 11,000 out of 12,000. So you are almost done. And all of the electricity is now coming over here. I apologize for the darkness, but there's no way around it. So, as obnoxious as this is, we're not getting anything out of here because this is connected to solar and there's nothing solar going on in the middle of the night, obviously. I wonder if we can. I think let's not mess with it. You are putting out carbon dioxide. Okay, so you are dropping, but you are not quite in the red yet. You're just under halfway. That is the moon going down. The sun is coming up. Now these are beginning to produce solar, which I am hoping, some of which will begin to go into this battery, which I can then pull off because it reminds me I have you. Let's go ahead and connect to self. Charge myself. All right, so that took me a little bit up. All right, so this is all green now, which suggests to me that the oxygen is full. Yes, oxygen. Grab cable. Oh. Grab cable. So, suggests to me that the oxygen is at 1200. No. Those you. Come back here. And you're at 28. All right, so this is also telling us, if you look under entry, you see hatch 1, hatch 2, and hatch 3. The only one that is open is hatch 2. That is the methane. Everything else, as it ticks up, everything else is just about done. And if I come down here, what I should see is my oxygen tanks are beginning to fill. Very slowly, you can see down there. You have a little bitty bit.
The rocket is perfectly ready. We're on the verge. Just one step, one command away from everything we've worked for. It's all aligning now.
She's very happy.
Finally come. Humanity is ready to reach for the stars once more.
All right, so this needs to be closed. Everything needs to be closed and detached, but you can leave the wires over here. So we have to start up. All right. So it is waiting for a launch request. And you do the launch request by going over to our little friend launch command. In the meantime, I'm just going to let this run because methane is hard to come by, and I might as well while I have the petrol. Now, launch command. I am not going to need, well, I'm going to need you. I'm not going to need you. No. I am wondering about I have enough to make the Lumimax. We're going to need a Lumimax over there, but I'm going to wait until after we have dealt with those. What I'm going to do now is go see about... I take that back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go save. And then we're about half an hour. So a lot of this game is puzzle solving. What needs to be connected to what? And how to get methane is a significant puzzle, because there's really nowhere in the game that it tells you unless you read the fine print. I mean, the fact that that Sabatier Reactor is actually there is significant, but it doesn't actually tell you. I do not want to turn you on. I'm going to grab the cable, connect to cell, and pull in some power. And we're going to just pull this in for a minute so that we have a little bit left when we go over to deal with the who's it's and the what's it's. Right. Oof. I need to bring my boat in because this is ridiculous. Okay. Bring the boat over. The other thing that doesn't tell you is how you bring the boat over closer so that you don't have to be running back and forth all the time. You do occasionally have to park over at arrivals because that's where the people mover is, and there is no other way of getting the pods over here. Because what you're going to see is when we get down here, there's no way to get the pods up this ladder that we're going to do. All right, so we do have plenty of that. So we're going to nip around the corner, came down the stairs. We're going to make a U-turn, essentially. Come down here. Now be mindful of this, because this is not joking when it says that you do not want to fall. You want to mind this gap. There is a gap in the gantry-way. You can jump it. If you fall in the water here, you essentially have to swim all the way back to your boat, which is all the way over there. Because the ladder that you need to get up here isn't down yet. We're going to have to go put it down. So mind the gap. Jump very carefully over here. And the reason this is here is that there's a spitter right up here. And he's a big one. That is what you're going for, is you're going for that ladder drop over there. But you can see you can't even get down these stairs without activating our lychee friend here. I think it's all one, which means that you're just going to tank those leeches. You can hear them. You can hear them up there. They're upset. You can hear them rolling back and forth. All right. Now get off that. And you need to... No. You need to drop Is that already down? Maybe it is already down. In which case, you could sneak up this way. If you were to come and park over here, I thought that had to be dropped. Because I remember bringing the boat over. I guess the idea is that if you do come up this way, anything you do to get rid of that leech spitter is probably going to activate these, which means that the very first thing you do when you get over here is you have to deal with the rollerballs that are up there. Now, here's a trick. The rollerballs do not climb these stairs. So, I'm going to make a run for it. We are trying to get back up those stairs without getting pasted. There we go. There, yep. I see you. There we go. But we are safe over here. Now, we can still probably manage to upset these angels if we are not careful. Where'd you go? Are you down there? Dang. All right. Come on. Over here. Yep. Look at me, fresh robot. All right, he's smoking. I am not even down to... They're both so anxious to kill me that they're bumping into each other. Come on. There we go. I'm just burning my rifle shot. Come on. There we go. Where'd your friend go? There you go. We know you're our friend because you only... There we go. There we are. Now, did we upset our friends? Our friend is investigating. But our friend is not hostile. Okay. So that opens up this area. And I suspect that my methane splitter is not robot friend. It's just kind of slightly off kilter here. And the little helicopter landing. It would have come in handy, but not really. Ooh. Hello, robot friend. Goodbye, robot friend. Now, these batteries should be filling, which means that I should be able to charge myself off of them. I'm going to leave the common materials. Your robot friend. All right. I'm going to slow walk over here. I'm going to turn it off. You can be turned off. That is the water system. No, it's still going. I thought for sure it would have been turned itself off. Methane. For a little while. Oh, it's venting. So putting the oxygen canister in here is not. For a little while, if the oxygen was full, the methane would not work. So that was a problem at that point. But you seem to be. It's not as efficient, but it is producing. This sucks up a lot of battery, though, it looks like. Is this pulling from all over the place? It's not pulling from here. Can this detach? Yes. For one reason or another, this likes to detach on me. So keep an eye on that. And I hope that means is that it filled that battery up there. Go ahead and go take a look. The other battery, it was looking pretty dead. No. Shoot it at. You do have to leave this plugged in, wired to power, and there's got to be something going on because you need this to. Right, that is back at arrivals. That is launch control, which is the building we haven't gotten into. This is our boat, and this is us. So I think I'm going to go back to the boat and move the boat to the closer moor. And then that will be a good stopping place, and we can do mission control and the rocket launch next. You can see there are still a lot of resources floating around. If I wasn't so low on battery, I might take some more of those with me. The walkable area over here runs along this side, and it is just a straight shot. And every now and then you have a space over here. There's a little robot friend there. There's some bio waste that you can collect. The sun is going down. Obviously, it will probably start raining as well, because it is always a dark and stormy night when I'm trying to park my boat. You can see the stairs off to the side. This in front of us is the elevator. These stairs, don't jump off the railings. These stairs go down like this and all the way down. There is a similar one on the other side that takes you to mission control, but you might as well. Well, yeah, you might as well take the people mover. There's a bunch of stuff in here that can be grabbed as well, dismantled, maybe even some robots. Let's get ourselves, however. All right, we are going to, we're going to run into the door here in a second. Anything in there? Yes. I'm going to connect to ourself. Ah, sweet, sweet power. Sweet, sweet battery power. One of the reasons it seems to be so slow is that my battery is maxed out. I took it up to 100. And I took my vitality up to 100. I think my backpack, my hall mastery is at 75, so I'm going to have to start. There won't be anything else that will make that better, really, if that maxes out. The next thing that I might go for is power management, which is how efficiently you use your battery, which is another way of extending your battery life. I do want to keep some for enhancers for pressure, however, because I suspect eventually pressure is going to need to be maxed out as well. Scrapper and engineering are useful, but not vital. Improved hydraulics increases how much you can carry. So if you are the sort of person who charge the rifle, but it's not on. You're the sort of person who likes to fill up those 40 holes with lots and lots of heavy stuff and carry them around. You're going to want hydraulics. It would make a certain amount of sense, although I've never tested the theory for the hydraulics to also make it easier for you to jump. But I don't know. I've never been able to prove that. So, all right, you are fairly straightforward. We're going to turn you off for no good reason. Nice. Don't have anything that could go in there. Don't have anything that could go in there. I think I'm probably I am probably at a point where if I know that I'm going to have to deal with that rollerball, maybe I'll do that first. And then I'll go down and deal with the opponents afterwards. It's just going to be a matter of tanking the hits. All right. So you are all sorted. And it started raining because of course it did. Now, what we need to do is get around the corner, hopefully without hitting any mines. So, this is going to take a minute. Or maybe I should have said it again. I did try tweaking the settings so that the darkers were a little less dark, but there's no way around it. This game is just got it in for the dark and stormy nights. We do a tight turn around here. There are areas around there that I didn't get to. And we are aiming for that pylon up ahead. Where's the money? All right, 3 in the morning. I do need to go back and check to see if that ladder is always down or if it only extends after the leech mobile is destroyed. I've kind of sworn you had to go over and manually drop it. There are a couple other places in the game where that is necessary. You'll roll up to one of these little pylons and they'll say, oh, I can just climb up the back door. No, you have to get this, come at it from the top and drop the ladder. I guess if you did come at it, you activated the volleyballs. You tried luring them over. The problem is that would probably upset the government's living on top of the rocket platform. I'm a little bit too far back. Mooring cable. This is over here. When we talk right through, there are always leeches over here too. And upside is you can come at it from any direction you want to. And the upside is that is right over there where you can get at it. And the floater. Okay, so you want to lift the anchor? Oh, we can't click this anymore and lift the anchor. Interesting. Up here. Click the button, lift anchors. This will allow the mooring cable to draw it tight. These things have a purpose, but they also often just get in the way. Just tight. Up here. Drop the anchor, then release the mooring cable. And that is the boat moored at this end. Alrighty. So this gets us to this ladder. And this ladder gets us up. If you come up here without having cleared the rest of Exodus, there's a spitter at the top. And it will dump leeches on your head. Otherwise, you should be okay. Dash money. The money turns into fabric. And eventually you get tired of jumping over this and go ahead and dismantle it. But for now, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to go upstairs. And you have cleared out the main platform of Lazarus. All that is left, you've fueled and powered the rocket. And we have placed our little human seeds in the tippy top. All that is left is to go over to launch command, which you can't see it from here, but it's standing in a weird spot. There is a roller ball and the back end behind launch command. Around the very back. There's no way of seeing it from over here. And there's no way of opening the doors without powering. The power is down that flight of stairs off to the left. And a bunch of hornets live over there. So, that is our next video. We will tackle that tomorrow. In the meantime, I will say thanks for watching.